What's going on, guys? This is Tony Animatronics here, and today we're going to do a restoration video. Now, I've already got a singing honey bass, but I picked this up locally for very cheap. It was $5. Today I'm going to show you how to restore a singing fish when you pick it up from a flea market or just somewhere bad. Like this one wasn't taken care of. It doesn't move here. Voice is very quiet. Tail snapped. Mouth is snapped. Head doesn't work. Just doesn't work. So today I'm going to show you how to fully restore the singing fish, make it like brand new again. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, we're going to put on its back. Now we're going to remove these 6 screws on the back plaque. Now I do have this. I'm just going to put it back on. Yeah, my desk is very messy. I'm sorry about that, guys. I've been doing a lot of repairs lately, so it's just stayed messy. So we're going to remove this and we'll be back. Anyway, guys, I opened the fish, so I removed the 6 screws. As you can see, it's in pretty bad shape. So this one would have to have a transplant from a billy bass mechanism. So the speaker was just dangling there. So basically the bracket piece that holds it was snapped. So I have to figure out what to do with that, because these ones don't have the screws on the ends here, so I have to see what I'm going to do with that. But it works, it does have sound, so that's good. Board looks like it's in pretty good shape, it's not corroded or anything, but this is extremely yellowed, so this whole thing needs to be replaced. I can imagine the whole mechanism inside being all yellow. See, it's very brittle, it's snapping, like it's very brittle, that's why. So anyway, guys, I'm going to remove these screws, and then once you remove these screws, you remove this cap for the motor. So once you remove that, you remove this motor out of place. So I'm going to pause the video now and I'm going to do all this, and then once you do all that, you can remove the fish off the plaque. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. So anyway, guys, I removed the screws. I removed that little bracket, which actually completely snapped because it was so shattered. So once you do that, you remove these 2 screws on top to remove this motor. Now if your fish, the head only doesn't work, everything else works fine, it's just the head, all you would have to do is remove what I've removed now, remove this motor, replace the gear on that motor, which I'm going to show you, and then your fish will be good as new, and you can put it back together and that's it. But this needs a full restoration. This whole mechanism is stuffed, so it needs a complete rebuild. So in my case, it's not just this problem. So but if it is the case, that's all you have to do. Anyway, I'll remove these 2 screws and I'll show you what I mean. Anyway, guys, so if your fish, the head doesn't come up, that's the only issue you have with your singing fish. All you have to do is take this motor out, replace this gear on the motor, because usually it's a split, and then that's what causes it. It slips on the shaft, so it doesn't have the strength to move the head forward. You replace this and your head is good as new. But the only problem is mine is still good. It's amazing, because usually this is the first thing that goes out on the singing fish, but this one's so bad that this is still good on it. So anyway, so now what you have to do is take the fish off the plaque. Now in this case it's pretty easy because these tabs are all broken, so it will come out a little bit easier. But all you have to do is wiggle the actual fish from the front, like wiggle it around and twist it out. Like, it's really hard for me to show this while I'm holding the camera, so I might get the tripod, I might not, but all you have to do is twist it this way and then take it out. So I'll pause the camera and we'll go from there. Alrighty, guys, so I got it on the tripod. Like I said before, I'm sorry about the mess. I've been repairing a lot of stuff lately, so everything's all over the place. So all you have to do is make sure you unhook the fabric from these, and sometimes they're glued. In this case it is, so you just pull it off. It's only hot glue, so it's not going to take that much force. And then you just wiggle the fish out. Be a bit gentle, but in this case I don't have to, because all the tabs are broken, so it comes up pretty easily. So now so you've got 2 fabric pieces still on it, and now you've got the fish off. Now in this case, I have to start taking it apart. So I'm not going to pause the video just yet. So what I'm going to do, so this whole mechanism is all yellowed. So it's not worth keeping it the way it is. It's just not. So I'm gonna undo the tail mechanism. So what's this? All right. So now this is the tail mech over here. So all you have to, there's a lot of oh my god, even the hinges are broken. Anyway, So you just undo these 2 screws on the top and 2 screws at the bottom that holds the tail mechanism in place. Now you'll see them. Now in this case, everything's wrecked because it's all shattered. But what you do is just peel off this hot glue, because there's hot glue over the screws sometimes. Just peel it off, and you'll see these 2 screws. I hope you guys can see that in camera. So you see those 2 screws there. There's 2 screws right here, over here. You undo those, and then there's ones at the bottom. So now I'm going to undo those real quick. I might speed up this video, so I'm not sure. Alright, you undo those, and then you go twist the plaque, and then you got 2 screws at the bottom. You'll see them. You cannot miss them. So there's 2 screws right here, if you can see that. There's 2 screws here. You undo that. Now I'm going to pause the video and show you up close so you can see where the actual screws are. Alrighty guys, so when you open the fish, this is the head mechanism. You can see the 2 screws. I already undid them. I'm just showing you a close-up so you can see where they are. So you have to twist the fish for the top and the bottom. So you got 2 on top over there. So I've already undone them. So now the mechanism can just slide out. So I'm going to put it back on the tripod and show you how to slide it out. Alrighty guys, so to slide out the mechanism, with this one it's very annoying because it's all yellowed, so you have to be very careful, even though I'm not going to keep. Alright, so now in this case this will never happen. Now usually this will be connected to the fish like this, and then you have to open it from the back and unscrew these hinges. But in this case, this gearbox completely came out by itself because it's all yellowed, everything's snapped. So I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna replace, I'm not gonna reuse these. I'm gonna replace them. See, everything's snapped in this fish. Everything's snapped. So this is the gearbox. This is the head gearbox. This is what lifts the head up. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. Alright guys, to slide the tail mechanism, like I said, in this case it's easy because the gearbox already came out. So all you have to do is grab it. Make sure you grab it with the foam because you need the foam. Do not remove the foam. Alright, so you just, it's a bit of fiddling around, but there you go. The gearbox came out, as you can see. So in this case, again, this piece should come out with the gearbox in one piece. All these are broken. This is all shattered inside. Let me see if I can get the tail piece up so you guys can see. This fish is, yeah, so that's the tail piece. It's broken. It's not meant to look like this, but it connects to these hinges. Connects to these hinges like this, and then what do you call it? It flaps the tail. Now this has meant to have another hinge up here, and it's meant to come out in one piece, but it's not because everything's shattered. So yeah, so that's that. In this case, the mouth will be the mouth mechanism will be easy to get out because the eyes are already broken. They're not into the eye sockets anymore. They're already broken. So all you have to do is basically slide it out. So now this one's a little bit more difficult because the shell is a bit larger. All you do is just pull it out, just slowly but surely, and it'll come out. And this is all shattered, like I said, so it's very easy for me at the moment. So see, look at this. It just came out like that. You know, it's not meant to. This is all broken. I don't know where this fish was stored, but it was obviously stored in a really bad place. So anyway, we got everything out. It looks like a mess right now because it's, oh my god. But here's the skin by itself. Obviously it's going to have a little bit of plastic pieces. Oh yeah, and the mouthpiece is broken too. So I'm just going to get that out real quick so I can show you guys. I'm going to replace this mouthpiece as well. Oh, oh my god, it's stuck inside the skin from age. Anyway guys, I'm going to pause the video and you'll see what I mean. Alrighty guys, so everything's out. Now I got the mouthpiece out of the mouth and I got the eyes out. Eyes will just come out because the eye sockets were all broken. But just look at this mechanism guys. It's piss yellow. So that means it's meant to be white. So when it's yellow like this, it means that it's been sun damaged or in a very cold area. So it's really bad. It's not even worth saving. I can literally save this mechanism if I really wanted to. But it's not worth it because the gears inside are probably yellowed. Everything's yellowed. This will just snap over time. Like this hinge, I don't know if it's going to be that easy to snap because it's a bit thicker. Look at that. That would never happen on a normal piece. Like I'm not barely putting any force. Look at this. It's just snapping. So Yeah, this isn't good. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna disconnect all these motors. I'm gonna keep them wired, but I'm just gonna disconnect them off the mechanisms and rebuild the whole fish basically. Put a whole new mechanism in him, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty, guys. So now it's just motors. So you got all these motors hooked up, except this one because this one the wire came off this one because it's so old. So I'll re-solder that back on. But it's just motors now. So now we can rebuild the whole fish. So now what I like to do is I'm going to clean this plaque because it's so dirty. Here's the eyes, by the way, guys. I'm going to reuse these. And I got a brand new eye socket, which I'm going to be using right here. So, as you can, oh yeah, that's another thing. I opened the mechanism. As you can see, the gears are still in good condition. So I'm going to sacrifice these gears for other fish. But here's the eye socket. This is the color it's meant to be. And this is the color it was on the honey bass. Look at that. There's a huge difference. It's just, yeah, like, it's not meant to be, look, it's just snapping in my hands. It's not meant to be like that. Like, if I do that with this one, you know what I mean? You can't do it because it's much stronger. So, anyway. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get the whole new mechanism. I'm going to get everything ready, probably clean up this desk a little bit, and then I'll just start recording again. So, but this is the point where you can do your cleanup. I'm going to go wash the skin as well. And yeah. Alrighty, guys, we're outside right now, and as you can see, it's very clean. It's got a bit of paint, like, missing around the eyes. Let me see if I can focus it. Around the eyes and stuff, but once you put the eyes and put everything back together, you won't really notice it that much. But it's so clean now, as you can see. Very clean. So it looks like brand new again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the mechanics, and yeah. Alrighty, guys, this is the brand new mechanism I'm putting in. It's a full billy bass mechanism. Nice strong white plastic. You can't go wrong. This fish will be perfect once it's finished. Now, before I do anything, I am going to grease the head mechanism because the head mechanism lacks in grease, and I like to re-grease the mechanism. So all you have to do that is see these two hinges over here. Now this is what I was talking about when I was taking apart the fish. Now all this is meant to come out in one piece, but as you saw on this fish, it all came out in different pieces because it was all shattered. So it's all connected in one piece, as you can see. So you just disconnect these two hinges. You disconnect from this side. Try not to take the foam off. You just disconnect it from this side, from these two screws, and the whole mechanism will come out. And then you just take apart these screws, and yeah, get access to the gears. So I'm gonna just re-grease it because I really don't feel comfortable with it like this. So yeah, but yeah. So once I get to that point, I'll start recording again. Alright, guys, so I took the mechanism off this mouth mechanism piece, I guess you can say. So there's the two hinges I said you have to take off. Now we're going to undo these screws and open the mechanism, and I'm just going to grease the gears. Alright, guys, I greased up the mechanism. So now we're going to put everything back together, put this whole mechanism back together. And I'm going to get the fish skin and we'll start putting the whole thing back together. It's turning out really good. Alrighty, guys, now the mechanism's all fully rebuilt. So I put a whole new mouthpiece because the original was broken. As you can see, it's black. I wanted to put the original billy bass one, but I didn't have any, so I had to use this one. This one's still nice and it's in good shape and it's not loose or anything, so it works. Put new eye sockets in. I'm completely greased up the mechanism. Everything's ready to go basically. I just have to glue these two foam pieces back on, and he's ready to rumble. Really excited to see this guy working. Alrighty, guys, so now I put the motors on the new mechanism. I've glued all the foam pieces. So it's ready to put back into the fish. So I'm going to put it on the tripod now and put it back on the fish and show you how to actually put this mechanism inside the fish itself. Yeah, so that's basically it. Alrighty, guys, so now it's time to put it back into the skin. So now what you have to do is, as you can see, the hole's pretty small, but it will fit. It just requires a bit of patience and time. Now you just basically just put it in there. It's really not, like, you can't really explain it, but I can't really do this while this tripod's in the way, but you just have to just put it in there bit by bit. So just stretch the skin and just keep pushing it in until it completely fits in there. It's not that hard. It's not that huge of a tight fit, but it just requires time. I just hope you guys can see this. So I'm just putting it back in. It takes, you know, a little bit of, you know, elbow grease, I guess you can say, but you can do it. So just keep pulling each side, the top and the bottom, you know, until it goes in. I usually do this in my lap so I can have a better grip. So see how you can see it's going in nicely. This is probably the hardest part, like when it comes to putting the fish back into this, like putting the mechanism back into the skin. This is probably the hardest part. Everything else is pretty easy. So now, there you go. See, as you can see, it's mostly in there. What I like to do as well is once I put the fish into the skin, is I like to test the mouth just in case, you know, something came disconnected or whatever. So now all you have to do is put the mouth, so you can feel the mouthpiece, you have to feel it around inside. So the mouthpiece is right here. So you just have to fiddle around until you can get it in there properly. See, I can see it. There we go. So now just push in. There we go. See, it's going in nicely. See, you can see the mouth is nice and closed because the mouthpiece is in there. Alright, so now what I like to do is test it real quick. You can see it's moving, so that's good. It's a good sign. So now just wiggle it in there just so it fits as it should. Move the, like open the mouth, you know, get it. Alright, so now as for the tail mechanism, this mechanism is actually a bit easier to pull, but in this case it's a little bit harder because the wires are a bit too short. But you just have to just work with it, I guess. So what you can do, what I like to do sometimes is I like to extend the wires from the inside, so I can always do that. So what I might do is I might snip the wires here and extend them, but the only thing is I kind of don't want to do that, so I'm going to try my best to do it without actually doing that. So first you put the tail fin in, as you can see. Yeah, no, I think I have to cut the wires, so I'm going to just do that real quick. Snip the wires. You're going to see what they go to because the two wires are different colors. So you just snip them. Alright, so now you've got more room. So now you just put it inside the mechanism, inside the skin. And you can bend the skin a bit just to get it inside the actual tail area. And you just you know, shrink the foam and just put it in. It takes some time. It will take some time to put it in, but make sure it's going inside the tail itself, not just poking outside the fish itself. So just keep doing that. Move this like this. See, just like that. See what I'm doing? So okay, so it's in. So now we'll get these wires and move them out of the way because we need to rejoin those wires in a minute. So I'll move these wires front here so it doesn't interfere, and that's it. The fish is basically back together now. Alright, so now you've got the whole mechanism inside the fish. Whew, okay, so now what you have to do is put those 4 screws that hold the tail mechanism into place. So it's very hard to see through camera, but they're there. So I'll get one screw. This can be a little bit tricky because you have to hold the screw, especially if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver. And just screw it into place, basically. There we go. There's one in. So that makes life a bit easier. So now your fish is starting to look like it once did. So it's pretty cool. Let's give it a quick test. The tail won't work. So as you can see, it works pretty good. Yeah, so anyway guys, I'm gonna put the rest of the screws in, and then I'm gonna show you how to put it back inside the plaque. Alrighty guys, now the whole mechanism is inside the fish, ready to go. Now all you have to do is put it back into the plaque. Now putting it back into the plaque is not too difficult, but I recommend just putting the fabric, a little bit of the fabric in, just like so. Now you have to separate the plaque. Now this is really hard to do while the camera's going and while it's not in my lap. It's actually easier in your lap. But you just do that basically, put it inside and just twist it. Twist it until it just fits in there. It's not that hard, it will go in. It's just, oh there we go, we already got it in anyway. So there you go, so it's already in. Then you just adjust the fabric and then screw everything in. So I'll adjust the fabric and I'll show you guys how it's done. Alright guys, now everything's back together now. Obviously I have to resolder this wire back to the head motor, and I have to rejoin the tail wires that we disconnected. The only reason why I disconnected them was because they were too short and it would have ripped off right from the motherboard. So I didn't want to do that. So I just cut them. Now I'm just going to rejoin them and put heat shrink and it'll be good as new. But usually you don't do that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Now what's left is everything's basically back together. You just have to screw these bolts back in. But before we do that, we're going to put the motor in. Now, what I'm going to do, I actually forgot to do this, but I'm going to solder this wire back to the motor, and I'm going to put that motor back in, and put the clamp on, and the fish will be done. All you have to do is rejoin these wires, put it back together, and put the eyes in. So we're going to do everything that we need to now, and then I'll update you guys in a minute. Alright guys, the motor and motor bracket are back in place, so all you have to do is screw these screws back in. These ones here. Screw them in. Make sure you do them nice and snug. Not too tight, but nice and snug. Tight enough where it won't wobble all over the place. So, see this? It just shows you guys, not everything has to be thrown away. It can be fixed. Now, this is a hobby of mine. I collect singing fish, so that's why I'm going through all this trouble. A lot of people wouldn't, which is, honestly, it is fair enough, but it just shows you can save things. And this, yes, the whole mechanism was bad, but that's not the case with all the singing fish. Some of them just need new gears or new motor shaft gear, which you can buy online. That's all that caused them to stop working, but this one needed a whole new mechanism. So this one definitely needed a bit of work. So I'm just going to tighten these screws nice and snug. You don't want them loose because they're going to wobble. The fish is going to wobble. You just want them nice and snug. Alright, as you can see, it's nice. So now I'm going to give it a quick test run before I put the tail, fix the tail wires that are cut. So we'll give it a quick test run. As you can see, this is how it looks now. So as you can see, it works just fine. So there we go guys. Anyway, I'm going to fix the tail. I'm going to put it basically all back together. I'm going to put the eyes back in, and I'll show you the finished result. Well guys, here's the finished result, and as you can see, he looks really nice. Eyes nice and strong, both sides. Clean skin, fully functional. You can't really go wrong. So yeah, it needed a lot of work, but we got it done. It looks really nice. It just shows you can repair if you just put a little bit of elbow grease into things. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was pretty hard to make. I did miss a couple small details here and there. Like I cleaned up the wiring inside the plaque, so it's nice and factory, so it looks clean. But I forgot to show that, and bits and pieces. But this is basically a full walkthrough on how to restore a fish that's completely bad. Like this fish was really bad condition. The only thing that was in good shape was the circuitry and the motors. I mean, they were still working fine, but the mechanical part of it, it was so bad. The whole mechanism needed to be replaced. You saw that. It's nice and clean now, as you can see. Everything's back the way it was factory. Couldn't ask for a better result. So here we go. Let's see it in action. As you can see, guys, works like brand new. So I'm just really happy with the result. Really happy with the result. And yeah, it's just from what it was till now, it's just incredible. It really is. It just is really incredible how it turned out this good. Anyway, guys, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Restoration videos are pretty hard for me to make since I really focus on the repairs. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.